Hello, hello, what is going on, guys? Phoenix61 here with another Skull and Bones video. Ammo! If you're finding yourself running out of ammo, I have the solutions to all your problems. We're going to go through how to never run out of ammo again, right? So, as you can see in my inventory, I typically have, if I'm running a decent sized ship, I've got thousands sometimes of cannonballs and bombards. The bombard bombs are probably my biggest struggle. Those are the ones that I use fire bombards a lot in a lot of my ships. So as you'll see in my warehouse, I don't have any bombard bombs, right? But we've got plenty of cannonballs and some of the other ammo types, right? But the bombard bombs for me has been this challenge. So, but like regardless, whatever ammo type you're using, this is how you get more, right? So the first thing I do is I try to just make a routine out of it. Whatever I'm doing, anytime I make landfall, I go up to the merchant. There's always one right on shore, right when you dock somewhere, right, or fast travel somewhere. So I always run up to them. I mean, not always, but almost, well, pretty much always. But anyway, right? Like, however often, if you're finding yourself not too low, then maybe you don't need to do it, right? But anyway, so I always check them and see if they have the items that I like, right? So like I use my favorite repair kit is the Enhanced Repair Kit 1, right? So I check, I'm always buying out the vendors every time I see them, right? But then some of the other things, not as big of a deal to me. But the reason I like the Enhanced Repair Kit 1 is because I feel like that one does the most healing with the least amount of cooldown time. Like the balance is just right there, right? But yeah, so my opinion, that's what I use, right? So anyway, the other thing to do is pretty much every time I'm going into St. Anne or the equivalent, home base over in the East Indies, I'm going up to the provisions supplier, right, Hawker. So they always have more available, right? So like whatever they sell of, they always have all the ammo types, but you can get 10 crates from her, right? As opposed to the other suppliers have like 5 or less, right? So I'm always going up to them and buying the ones that I run out of a lot, right? So she doesn't sell the advanced repair kits, so I buy the regular repair kit ones because you can craft advanced repair kit ones from the regular repair kit ones, right? So that's why I'm typically picking those, right? So I'm always like, I'm in that menu, I might as well stock up on things that are useful to me, to my play style. Now, to get up into the thousands range, you're gonna need the blacksmith, right? You can craft ammo crates, and the ammo crates that you craft from here, you're gonna get a lot more out of. You're gonna get a lot more bang for your buck here, right? So, and this is where the sort of low end materials that you can gather come into play, right? So you can see we need metal salvage and rusty nails. So we'll go in, probably my opinion on the best way to farm those if you get to that point where you have to go and get them, right? Typically for my gameplay, I'm randomly picking those things up whenever I see them, right? But so we'll craft some. I'm not going to craft the full amount because I like to have some of those materials for other things that you craft. So we'll do 43 crates, and that gave me 2,580 bombard bombs. So that should last me for a little bit, right? Depending on how much you play and how liberal you are, I shoot a ton because I miss a lot, right? I fire lots of bombard bombs, so I need lots of those, right? But so some of my other items I don't need as much, right? But more bang for your buck from the blacksmith. You can do the same thing there from this place, Talak Penjar. I always forget the name, and then I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, right? But so we'll go check there really quick too, and I'll show you where the provisions person is here too. But a couple other things we'll go through as well on how to. If you don't have the blueprints for crafting those, right, things, and where to get those raw materials from as well, and kind of my best thoughts on how to do that. But yeah, so I'm going in here. Oh, she's got enhanced repair kit ones. Those are my favorite, right? I'll buy the regular repair kit ones. I use the water flasks and water barrels a ton to give me extra speed. I've just been grabbing mutton for some reason because I was cooking a whole bunch of it at once to use it for stamina, right? So like I'm just throwing that in my warehouse, right? So yeah. So we'll go back to the blacksmith. There's an equivalent blacksmith. So if you don't have this area unlocked, if you don't have, the East Indies area unlocked yet, if you're still over by St. Anne, just the blacksmiths are the same. Like they just the dude is different, right? But they sell and craft the same stuff, right? So bombard bomb crate. So you can push X on this if this is the ammo type you need, right? And then it'll track that blueprint. So then when you go into the map view, when you're tracking a blueprint, it's going to show you where the materials are, right? So, but for ammo crates, I don't know why it's doing this, but like really, the reality is you just need to find the shipwrecks, right? This is where these material types are. So it's highlighting these that are way up here, but I'm not going to go over there, right? There's more shipwrecks clustered together in some other areas that I would recommend going to if you get to this point where you're like, I need some, I'm just going to stock up on them, right? But like what I do is typically just throughout my normal gameplay, I'm like, okay, if I'm not, in a rush to get somewhere or something, I'm like, oh, here's a shipwreck. I'll open it, I'll bust it open and grab whatever's in there, right? Or I'll at least pick up the floating items, right? Because then that takes no effort at all, right? You're just pushing the button and you loot it and it's floating and it's instantly in your cart, right? So for the most part, that's what I spend that's where I get most of my materials from, right? I'm just passively collecting them as I play. But if you want to just bulk up, this is where I go, right? So you saw on the map where I marked on the map, right? There's a chunk of, several shipwrecks all in a row. And you can see this privateer, like he's got, cannonballs on him too. So the other thing too is just regular gameplay. You should be getting some. So if you're not trying to like collect the items that enemies drop, then you're doing it wrong there too, right? So I'll typically kill whoever's in my way, right? Or even just go and do a plunder every once in a while. It's a good way to stock up on some silver and raw materials too. And like, yeah, because those ships are going to drop ammo, right? So just play the game, right, is kind of my go-to. I'm going to try not to shoot that faction ship. But yeah, but if you want to stock up, this is probably the place to go and the way to do it. And I'm using the this ship, right, the newer support ship, which does some automatic healing. And the reason I'm using this one is because you're kind of just tooling around, right? And you're gonna run into random enemies, right? Like this guy, where I'm like, okay, it's a privateer, he's gonna come after me regardless, right? So the reason I'm using this, and one, it looks cool, right? I like how the ship looks. But anyway, like, the reason I'm using this one is because, yeah, see, I'm always using these water flasks too, so that's why I'm, like, just always buying them. Like, I've got them in my quick menu, right? And then I've also got this, whatever your favorite foods are for helping you reduce stamina while trimming and stuff like that. But the reason I'm using this ship is because it has the automatic healing, right? So it's got decent cargo, it's decent speed, and it's got the automatic healing. So I'm not using a bunch of repair kits every time somebody like scratches me, right? So, but right along here is where there's just so many shipwrecks all in a row. And you can see you're always getting these types of materials, right? Rusty nails, the broken planks, and the metal salvage. Like they all come, and then there's a lot of times there's some floating out here, out in the water too, that you can just grab. How metal salvage floats, I have no idea, but it's nice because it's there. It's for the gameplay, right? There's some metal salvage in that one, right? The torn sails I get, right? But as you can see, I think there's even more shipwrecks than what was showing on the map. At least it feels that way. Like, this was what, number 3, and there's 1, 2, at least 3 more. So 6 along this side, and then there was a couple on the other side too, right? So we'll go and grab all these. These guys have repair kits on them too, so that's the other thing that's nice. Because a lot of times you're getting some of those item types as well. But we'll go. I'm just gonna quick grab these and then show you why this is kind of the way to go. If you need to, if you're like, I just want to stock up right now, right? Like if you, yeah, because you can keep farming this over and over and over again. You don't have to go back to the port. You don't have to fast travel or anything. Yeah, see how there was one just in the water and I just clicked it and grabbed it? And here's another one, right? Broken plank. And then we're going to avoid harvesting the fruit. But yeah, so like that's what I normally am doing. If I'm driving by shipwrecks and stuff, I'm not, most of the time I'm not prying them open unless I'm like, I feel like it, right? But otherwise I am grabbing the loose stuff, right? Because that takes literally zero effort. And then, every time I dock, at shore or whatever, I'm just dumping that stuff in my warehouse. And then that way, when I do happen to like run low on ammo and go to craft it at the blacksmith, I usually have plenty, right? At least enough to like keep me going in the game for like whatever I was working on, whatever I was doing, right? But yeah, so we pick up some stuff from him. He had another 30 cannonballs, right? Like, so yeah, I mean, just killing that ship probably replenished most of what it took me to kill that ship. Right? But yeah, this ship is great for this. I think you could probably use the brigantine too, because it has the extra speed, but I like this a little bit better because I think you get a little bit more cargo capacity plus the automatic healing, right? You get that slow trickle heal with this ship. And I'll show you how to get this ship too if you don't have it, right? This is part of the season stuff, right? So I'll show you how to get this. Everybody can get this. You don't have to pay to get this ship, right? So we'll unlock this last one. So that's the last one in like the loop that I do, right? We just did a little circle here, and that works great. But like I said, like just kind of passively pick this stuff up as you play, and then I haven't had to do this, right? I was low, but yeah, so here's the first ship. Here's the first ship we did, right? So it's already available to bust open again, right? So you could just sit there and circle and collect all this stuff till your cargo is full, right? But yeah, like I said, like I it's so rare that I have to do this because I'm just sort of I'm always running up to the vendors. I'm always checking the provision suppliers. I'm always checking Hawker in the, at St. Anne and the other place in the East Indies, right? If you don't have the East Indies unlocked, there's a ton of shipwrecks around St. Anne too, right? So you could do a loop around the island that is St. Anne and just hit up these shipwrecks. And definitely, like, that's going to be a little bit longer of a trek, right? But, like, if you don't have this area unlocked and you're looking for ammo, there's plenty of shipwrecks around St. Anne. So do that too. There is a decent place over in the coast of Africa that you could do too. So there's a bunch of shipwrecks along these shores here. So you could teleport to, you could fast travel to Pillar Tomb and then get all of these. You could do a loop here. Those will probably replenish. And those are some smaller ships too. So if you don't have the larger, like, the larger crowbar, like the ranked up crowbars, you could do that. But the ones around St. Anne probably, I think, are kind of the go-getters for, if you're still a little bit early on in the game, that's probably easier to do. But yeah, so like, yeah, 8 cannonballs from running around on land is kind of not worth it, right? Other thing too, so I'm going to go in, I'm looking at, so I have everything. Like I'm always buying whatever cosmetics they have and whatever blueprints they have, even if I don't need it, because I just want to have it, right? I don't have a silver problem. If you need silver, if you're early in the game, this is a good way to get silver too, is by going through these shipwrecks. But if you're struggling on silver, I'll try and remember to put a link in the description to my video on how to farm silver, right? But like I said, I don't have a problem with silver anymore. So I'm always checking the vendors. Pretty much every island I stop at takes 2 seconds to run up to them and check them, and then I'm just passively grabbing shipwreck items as I drive by them. I'm not necessarily opening every single shipwreck. So I haven't had to do this sort of farming for ammo in quite a while, right? So if you need to upgrade your tools, so if you're finding that your crowbar doesn't open the larger shipwrecks, the carpenter has this is where you upgrade your tools, right? So it goes up to level 5, crowbar 5. So the crowbar is the one that opens shipwrecks. Same thing here. If you don't have it, you want to go in order, so you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? But you can track the blueprint, right? So if you don't have the blueprint, it will show up on the map when you're tracking it. This is showing me where the raw materials are that I would need to also craft it, right? So, but if you don't have the blueprint, it'll show you where to go to grab the blueprint, and usually it's just a matter of fast traveling to that island and buying it from whoever the vendor is, the supplier dude on that island, and you're done, right? So you just probably need some silver and you're good to go. Come back to the carpenter, upgrade your tools, right? So that's kind of the way to do it, right? So this is the bark. So this is the new ship for this first season. And the reason I'm using this, you can see over on the right, this is the details of this ship, but it restores a small percentage of severe damage and hull health. So severe damage is that red bar. So if you ever have like where you get red in your health bar, right, that you can't heal with a repair kit, this takes that away slowly, right? So this is an awesome ship if you're getting frustrated with severe damage. This is a great ship to have. There are some furniture pieces out there that can help negate that too, but this one's a great just all around. So like it's nice not having to use repair kits too. It heals your regular health as well, right? So I'll show you where to go to get that real quick. So if you go into there is the new NPC right in the front of St. Anne and the East Indies base too, but you can go into the Smuggler's Pass just like you would go into the map, right? And you just tab over to it or click whatever, depending on what type of, if you're on console or PC, right? So as you can see, I've already completed everything, but you need to do 45 unlocks in here, right? There's 90 total, and honestly, it doesn't take that much. So, but my recommendation is, first one to do would be this bottom row, the Shipmaster, and get up to level 20, because it gives you this really good armor piece called the Wailing Ward. This is really, really good for fighting Lepest because it negates his poison damage that he does. But even if you don't want to fight Lepest, this is still a good armor piece in general. And it looks cool. Like, look at that red lighty uppiness, right? Then the next one I would recommend doing is the Quartermaster up to level 20 as well, because it gives you this unique furniture blueprint, the Lepotence schematic, sorry. This increases damage to weak points and highlights weak points on Lepest's ships. So, like, not just Lepest himself, but his other fleet guys too, right? So that's good for in general overall, because you can do extra damage to weak points in general. So, like, that's kind of nice. Then what I did is I went for the middle one, and you get all the way across to unlock these culverin cannons, right? So the carronades, I guess, you get 2 of them. You don't get a blueprint, you get 2. So you can't build a whole bunch of these, so make sure you don't like accidentally sell them or delete them or whatever, right? They're pretty good. I like them quite a bit. These are actually the cannons I was using earlier in this video when we were killing those the privateers, right? So but you obviously don't need to get all the way through here, so you only need to get 45 points, and you put them wherever, right? And then once you get 45, no matter where you put them, then you unlock the blueprint for the bark, or for this ship, right? And then it's a matter of going to the shipwright and building it, right? So, but obviously you don't need this ship, right? Just go around to those the shipwrecks and bust them open, right? But yeah, my recommendation is always going to be just kind of, with this type of game, I'm just sort of always passively collecting materials, and then every time I dock at shore, throw them in your warehouse. And then if you do run into a point where your warehouse is getting overfull, you don't have room in it, then go through, and because you can mass sell and mass delete things from the warehouse, right? So like it's like, okay, I got 100 of these things, I don't need them, grab them, throw them in your cargo hold, and go and sell them to the provisions supplier, right? So like that's just kind of how I've been playing. So I haven't had to farm for ammo in quite some time. But this is how you do it if you need to do it, right? So thank you guys so much for watching my video all the way through. Please make sure to follow the channel. I got more Skull and Bones videos in the works. We got some plans here, right? And we'll see you next time.